Hey, it's Patrick O'Driscoll, co-founder of TVG. In today's video, I'm sitting down with one of our clients, Chris from Football Play Card, to hear more about his experience working with us over the last 6 months. Over the last 6 months, we really helped him build an entire marketing funnel as well as manage the ads to actually get to the point where we're doubling revenue year over year, which has been massive and has allowed them to scale more predictably by having a reliable and predictable acquisition channel set up. I think you'll really enjoy this video. It's a great example of a client that started off with a kind of a smaller budget, trusted the process, and has now started to scale up and has obviously seen those positive results. So enjoy this video. And if you're interested in our team helping you out and building out your marketing system and auditing what you guys got currently going on, then I'll leave a link down below to book in that free audit call with me personally. But without further ado, let's dive into today's video. Could you just introduce yourself and your role at your company?
Yep. So my name's Chris Patullo. I'm the founder of our football play card app.
Got it. And what is your, can you explain more about like what your company does and the product you sell?
Yeah. So our app, football play card, helps coaches at all levels, NFL down through youth coaches, help draw their playbooks and their plays and shares them with their players so they can be set up for success for their teams and their seasons. We allow them to print their wristbands so they can save even more time and communicate more effectively on the field during game day.
Love it. Awesome. And I want to take it back to kind of before we started working together, where you guys were at previously. What led you to like reaching out and looking for support on the advertising and marketing side?
For sure. So we had a different company before that was focused mainly on ads. We did a little bit with meta advertisements, but we didn't see the conversions that we would have liked to see based on the reviews that we get on our app. Everyone we talk to, they love it. So we were expecting to see more value coming in through those channels. Then we realized it was a time to change. Somebody who truly understood how to build a full funnel, top to bottom, that would help us, get a bigger reach on Meta as well as converting them through email and other channels.
Love it. And can you like expand more on like some of the challenges you guys were facing when it came to advertising? Like what wasn't working? What did those channels look like before we started working together?
Yeah, a lot of it came down to it wasn't a full service agency. It was using some of our content, but it became stale. So it was just a matter of people were seeing the same ads over and over, and because we weren't refreshing it, we weren't getting the interest that we would expect to see. So it's been great having new ads built out and tested every couple of weeks, and it's made a huge difference.
Awesome. Awesome. And what in those early discussions, when we were having initial calls, like what stood out to you or our team? Like what made you decide to actually partner with us?
Yep. I did a ton of research for really the first couple months of the year, and I really looked at all the different companies, the different funnels that they had, how they took me through their process, and that was a big thing for me. Is I wanted to see how they retargeted me as a
Mm.
potential customer for themselves, and that was something really that kind of brought me to TVG. Was I saw an ad, actually it was a video after a previous agency, and then I was retargeted later that day, and then again later that week and I was like, you know what? These guys are doing their job. So it looks like this should work for me as well. The other thing was you guys are based in the US and you have, you understand football. And that was a
Yeah.
big thing for me. I didn't want somebody who doesn't understand kind of our customer.
Yeah.
And that was something that you guys have the experience with that, as well as the marketing experience and expertise.
Yeah, absolutely. I just noticed my camera went off. Let's see. There we go. See if that toggles back off. Okay, we'll keep rolling. Awesome. No, I appreciate that. And what made you like have the confidence to, invest and take those next step in your business partnering with us?
Mhm. It really came down to what I saw online and the conversation that we had. We spoke, and I felt like you guys knew what you were doing. You guys are, young, young like us. You're hungry. You want to prove yourselves, and I've seen that day in and day out. That we're not just, we feel like we're part of, the team, and you're
Yeah.
part of our team as well. But we're not just a number to you guys. You truly want to help us grow, and that's shown. Right? We have our meetings. We constantly talk on Slack with different ideas, and it's not just you want our money, you want our money, you want to truly help us grow, which is
Yeah.
great. So we're growing together.
Love it. Awesome. And I'd like to kind of expand more. So obviously you guys took the next step. You started working with us, I think about 5 or 6 months ago now. And what has your experience been like working with us on the day to day?
It's been great. Again, we talk back and forth in Slack, going through what ideas that I have, bounce ideas off of you, and then vice versa. I love that, again, we're having a conversation about our mutual success and not just here's our playbook. We can't deviate from that. It's what makes
Yeah.
sense based on where we're at in our business, where we're at in our season, and what our coaches need, and how do we target more coaches and help them not just here in the U.S. but across the world with the growing game of football.
Yeah, absolutely. And how would you describe maybe like our communication and collaboration? Have you felt that we've been able to, collaborate with you effectively and make sure that we're, you're never left in the dark of what's going on with your account?
Yeah, that's the biggest difference that I've noticed between our previous agency, where there's a lot of proactive communication. Before it was like pulling teeth to get information that I needed to make a decision for our business, but now we get our updates on how our ad spending is doing, how our ROAS is doing, how our ads are doing. Each ad, the testing that we're doing, we're getting feedback on that and which ones are converting at higher levels, so that we can, as a business, decide whether we want to scale up advertising and how much we want to scale it up by. And that's what I've enjoyed, is having that conversation with a business partner, not just somebody who wants, again, to take our money. It's you truly want to help
Yeah.
us grow and do the right thing for us and help us scale sustainably and not just throw money at something that may or may not work. We've got a good plan in place. We got predictable ROAS, which has really helped us make decisions to increase our ad spend so we can grow faster and grow sustainably.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. And I think for us, I know when you came on, we originally started with like that bigger project, get things set up on the email side, and then we've been running the ads since then. Can you speak about like the work we've done together, maybe like the email stuff that we set up at the beginning, the ads, ad creative, and what the impact has had on the business?
Sure. So the email campaigns that we initially set up, that was a huge help because I'm not a graphic designer. Our
Okay.
previous agency didn't have a lot of great graphics contractors under them. So being able to again bounce ideas off of the TVG team on with the content, how do we the text, the wording, how do we spin things to get coaches to understand the value that we provide? That's been instrumental into our success and truly trying to help customers and coaches. And that was a big thing, is kind of A/B testing different wording. I've talked to other coaches and see what resonates with them and being able to give feedback and tune things to make sure that we do have a highly converting funnel.
Awesome. Yeah. And can you maybe like describe or expand on like what has been, you can keep things as detailed or not detailed as possible. Like the growth that you've seen over the last few months working together. What does that look like and resulted for the business?
For sure. So, Patrick, when we talked, our goal was to double this year.
Hmm.
And you said, yeah, we could definitely do that. And I was, leery because everyone says, yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
We started off slower as we were testing things, getting feedback. But as we got to a consistent ROAS, we've been able to scale up significantly. And we actually just hit our double that we were looking for, which is great. We doubled year over year for August, which is a huge win. That gives us confidence
Yeah.
going into the next couple of months to say, like, we've everything that we've talked about, we've tested things, we've tuned them, we've got the right ads in place now to where we've brought the ROAS down to a specific level. Actually, we've brought the conversion rates down to a certain
Yeah.
level to where our ROAS is high enough to predictably increase ad spend to know exactly what we're going to get out of each dollar spent.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously acquisition, marketing, it's an important thing obviously to have in your company. And what is like our team, the work we've been doing, how has that helped you as like a founder, like maybe alleviate your workload or maybe even take some stress off some things? Like how has that been just from like a business owner to business owner perspective?
Yep, it's been huge having the TVG team fully, manage our content creation from the ad standpoint, manage the conversions, all of that. I was doing a ton of research the first couple months of the year to try to figure out, can I do this myself? Can I leverage
Yeah.
AI to help me do this? And it proved that I could do it, but not good enough to get the level of success that I wanted. I truly wanted experts in the industry that could help us and help us grow together. And that's what we've gotten, which has been great for this partnership.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, that's the big thing is like, you know, with all these AI tools, I'm the first one to try to find those AI tools that will like actually work for businesses. And I think that, a lot of small teams, they stretch pretty thin. Obviously, you want to create an amazing product. You're working on multiple things. And so our intention is to, be that reliable partner that you have like that full visibility on, that you're not like wondering what's going on so that we can alleviate that work. Ultimately get some positive results, which it definitely sounds like we've been able to get with you. And make sure that you're focusing on the right things, make sure that you're at the highest leverage, position in your business to make those more strategic decisions there. which I've definitely seen, throughout the relationship. So, what is, maybe like, what would you say to anyone that's considering working with us, or someone's looking for, an agency? Is there any words that you might have for, that individual?
Yeah, you see a lot of smoke and mirrors on social media, and I was leery coming into this conversation, but I can say like it's working with TVG has done wonders for our company. It's been great working with the team, extremely proactive, communicate effectively. They're constantly communicating where we're at, changes they recommend, and it's been huge for our business. We wouldn't be
Love
where
it.
we are without the TVG team.
I appreciate that. And obviously, it's great to hear that we've kind of headed in that trajectory of doubling. What is your long term vision now that we've kind of got these things set up? What are your goals with the company?
So I've done a lot of research. I've done a couple of different models on how quickly we can scale. Again, because we've got predictable return on the ad spend the last really month. It's how quickly can we ramp this up. So
Yeah.
because we are making money almost immediately, right? Our ROAS is just below $1 for every dollar we spend. So we can, and because it's recurring, the next month we're making money off it. So we can relatively confidently spend our money and know exactly what we're going to get back over the next couple months. So we can, I mean, it's what we're seeing in our models is pretty interesting that we
Mhm.
can scale very quickly and make a lot of money very quickly. And at the end of the day, help a lot of customers, help a lot of coaches
Yeah.
save time. And with the game that's growing because the Olympics in 2028, almost the sky's the limit because we've barely touched, scratched the surface on the market of football coaching and flag footballs.
Yeah, love it. And for you specifically, like I want to go back to, a lot of brands struggle with ads because of the nature of testing and, trusting the process. And obviously I've seen with you specifically that like, we're testing things and then, the snowball started to move. You start to see that momentum. How do you think about like that testing process, and, what made you confident to obviously continue down the road and continue to work towards those results. Although that sometimes, with advertising is a testing process. We try to have those expectations up front. You like speaking with the team, like it sounds like you guys have had reasonable and been extremely flexible, and really saw the long-term goal of
Mhm.
that momentum being built.
So I'm very long-term goal oriented, not just short-term. So I knew it was going to be a process of a couple months to get where we are. The other thing, the cyclical nature of our business is August is always a huge month. So we
Yeah.
knew it was going to be a good month. But even the first week of the month, it was like, okay, things are working. But then the new ads kicked in, and then we really started seeing things take off. And that's where the next couple of weeks is going to be very interesting to see whether there's the cyclical downturn at all, or if we can keep increasing our ad spend and see the continual ROAS that we've seen in August. So that's going to be very interesting. But we've modeled some things out. But again, it's because we're pretty predictable where we're at right now. Hopefully that the models stay true.
Yeah.
Um, so it's going to be very interesting the next couple months where we're. But
Yeah.
really, it's
Yeah.
been great going through the last couple weeks, seeing all everything that we talked with Alex and with Zach is coming true, which is great. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want to ask, a lot of the brands that we work with are, you obviously have an app. So there's that subscription model, there's that LTV that we're always looking at. Um, what would you say, like, how has that made acquisition not easier, but I guess for a lot of brands we're working with, we're trying to, even if they're not an app subscription, like subscription LTV is like a big focus for us. So, knowing that, like, what has that subscription model allowed you guys to do, and allow you guys to look at acquisition maybe differently than maybe a brand that like, or company that's selling like a one-off product?
so with the recurring easier to think slightly long term about ad spend because we know our customer lifetime value. So we can spend a little more upfront and maybe take it slightly below one ROAS because we know they're going to stick around for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 months, depending on sometimes years. So
Yeah.
we know the value is there. So just having that longer term view on things allows us to think strategically around, okay, let's spend right now, expand, our customer base, and then we'll see a little bit longer down the road, we'll see more profitability.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Any other final thoughts, or final things you wish to add?
I mean, it's been great working with you and the team. It truly has. And looking at your profile back in March and April around everything that you guys were doing around the health and nutrition. We kind of took a chance on you guys, but
Yeah.
the conversation went really well. Did more research, and everything that you guys presented, it just resonated well. It didn't seem like a bait and switch. It didn't seem smoke and mirrors. It seemed like you guys were
Mhm.
truly authentic. We're trying to grow your business, which is great. That's at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do. But it felt very
Mhm.
authentic, and that was for me. I felt like I could trust you guys, and for me, trust is huge. Uh,
Yeah.
so it was, and it's been great. It truly has. And I'm looking forward to continue to grow with you guys through the next weeks, months, years.
Yeah.
You've set us on a different trajectory, which is great.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it. Yeah, and I mean, one thing I'll add too is like that's something that in this industry, it's very easy to come on to a new agency and they make all these crazy grandiose things. And what we try to do, and I'm happy to hear from your experience, is that we set like realistic expectations. It's not like this big crazy thing, and then through a structured plan and testing iteration, like it's great to see that we've definitely started to trend that way. So really appreciate it, Chris, and appreciate your time today.
Yep, definitely looking forward to it. If you have anything else, let me know.